one of your families and some other family in northern Kentucky, and there was a fight and somebody got killed. And remember that story?
Yeah, but that's my grandfather.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to hear that one. I can't remember that one.
My grandfather, he lived on a farm where his grandfather came over from Germany,
Mm-hmm.
lived on Licking Pike, a farm out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where then his dad ended up, his grandfather and his dad, they bought a couple of smaller farms,
Mm-hmm.
and his father had run a farm right on Licking Pike. And that's where my mother grew up.
Okay.
And in there, and he would go into town to Johns Hill, where there was a church there, a cemetery, a small store, a big place they sold beer
Mm-hmm.
and stuff in Johns Hill. But there wasn't many people lived there. I would bet there wasn't 20 in there. And he went in there and got into a fight with, there was a feud between the Browns. The Browns is in German, Braun means Browns.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns, Braun. And my grandfather walked into Johns Hill on a Saturday night to go to the beer joint to have a couple of drinks and
Mm-hmm.
talk to the people who were in there or something. And who was in there but one of the Brauns.
Mm-hmm.
And the Brauns and the Denners they fought. The Hatfield McCoy
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. They got into a fight in the saloon, and my grandfather killed the Braun boy.
Mm-hmm.
And a day or so later, the sheriff arrested him. And of course, his father argued his boy went in there, and the other guy picked the fight. But there was a feud in families, and if they ran into each other, they fought every time. And he got what he deserved. But my grandfather went through court and was sentenced to prison. And was, I can't remember the name of the prison now, prison downstate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was down there. His wife divorced him and married a different man. His sister took his children, that was my mother and her brother George,
Mm-hmm.
and to raise them because their mother was gone and their father was in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather had a number of brothers, Uncle Bill, Uncle George, and they were going in Licking Pike in a wagon to take stuff over to Cincinnati to sell at the Cincinnati market.
Mm-hmm.
And they went by there. As they were going by there, the Braun boys came out with clubs, took them off the wagon and beat them with clubs, and made a mess of their legs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandpa Denner, that's not my grandpa, but my grandpa's father, he went to the county at Alexandria and talked to the judge. There's a court there, and explained everything that happened to him. And the judge issued a arrest thing for the Braun boys.
Mm-hmm.
To bring him into his court. And they brought him into his court, and then all they talked about, as I understand it, was the feud between the two
Mm-hmm.
families. And he ended up, he said he wasn't going to put the Braun boys in for the damage they did, and he was going to leave my grandfather out because they both sides, both families broke the law everywhere under the sun, and he hates to put both families on the hanging block or something, so he turned them loose with a warning that if he had him, if he even saw him in his court, he wouldn't even listen to what was wrong. He was just sentence them, and that's how my grandfather got out of Eddyville
Okay.
prison to go back and live with his family. And then my grandmother divorced the guy she married while he was in, and then came back to my grandfather and married him again.
And you got the kids back, probably.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's quite a story.
Yeah.
How about that? That's a good one.